Okay, lesson number 3. In today's lesson we're going to learn a load of new chord sequences and a load of new strumming patterns. When you apply those strumming patterns to those chord sequences, they're going to start to sound more like songs rather than just plinky plunky strummy chords. Most songs will use a different chord sequence for the chorus and the verse, and then the other sections, some really simple songs use the same chord sequence all the way through, and maybe they just change the strumming pattern from one section to the next. What I'm going to do is introduce you to a group of chord sequences. I'm going to do this in 3 chunks, and I'll show you different strumming patterns while I'm doing that, but I will explain those strumming patterns at the end. And at the very end there'll be a list of all the chord sequences and a list of all the strumming patterns, and you can pick a number from one list and a number from another list and start to put them together and even make your own songs. So anyway, here's the first group of chord sequences. Okay, chord sequence 1 is the one that we used in the last lesson. G, D, C and C again. And if you just play it like that, loads of songs. Makes me think of Knock on Heaven's Door firstly, or you could have the Lazy Song by Bruno Mars. Just G, D, C, G, D, C. Chord sequence number 2 is G, C, D, C. G, C, D, C. And again, you could have a bit of Grease. Or some Blues Brothers. Or some Wild Thing. Number 3 is G, C, G, D. Again, loads of songs. Makes me think of Mr. Record Man by Mickey Joe. Or it could be Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison. Or loads of other stuff. You might try with a broken chord maybe instead of just strumming. And so on. Number 4 is actually kind of 2 different sequences. The first one is G, G, C, D, which is quite a punky sequence actually. Or you could switch it around a bit. Instead of G, G, C, D, do G, C, D, D. Same chord, same order, but first one had 2 G's, the second one has 2 D's. So this one is G, C, D, D. And that's a bit of twist and shout right there. Or La Bamba. So 5 different sequences for you to try there. Alright, the next set of sequences is really the same sequence, just playing the same chords in the same order but starting a different place each time. We've done this one already, G, D, E minor, C. And that is millions of songs, really, literally millions of songs. So instead of starting on the G, if I start on the E minor and go E minor, C, G, D, again same chord, same order, just starting in a different place, that will give me, again, millions of songs using that chord sequence. Next one, again, same chords, same order, starting in a different place. This one's going to go C, G, D, E minor. Basically anything by Taylor Swift. Go C, G, D, E minor. We've got Galway Girl by Ed Sheeran. Again, loads of songs use that sequence. And the last one I'm this group is one of my favourites. We call this the 50s chord sequence because loads of the songs in the 50s locked onto this sequence for some reason. Not quite the same chords in the same order, but the same chords. G, E minor, C, D. I always think of Stand By Me by Benny King. Be Blue Moon, or again even a bit of Ed Sheeran. Loads of stuff. Okay, last set of sequences. The first two are a little bit more rock. I always think of the first one as being the Iron Maiden chord sequence because anything by Iron Maiden, E minor again, then C, D, E minor, C, D. If you start in a different place, instead of E minor, C, D, do C, D, E minor, then it's a little bit more Bon Jovi maybe. C, D, 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 E minor. Last two. These ones make me think of more poppy sort of songs, but again, any of these sequences can be used in any style of music. The first one is E minor G, D, C, which straight away makes me think of Hello by Adele. Also makes me think of Polly by Nirvana. Completely different bands, different styles of music. Last one I'm going to show you is E minor G, C, G, which makes me think of See You Again, which is quite apt at the moment. As I go, it's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again, when I see you again. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to show you in this session is all the strumming patterns that I might use. To remind you of the first ones we did, I'm just going to do this on E minor. We just started off by strumming the chord 4 times. You might do them 8 times, chug it a bit more. You might get 6 times. Notice I'm accenting the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You might just hit the chord once and let it ring out before we move on to the next chord. The next one I taught you was to split the bass note off, bass chord, like that. Some variations on that. You might try bass chord, bass chord, bass chord, bass chord, or bass chord, bass chord, bass chord, bass chord. The last one I showed you in our first few sessions was bass broken chord, down on the bass note, and then E string, B string, G string. And there are loads of variations on that. You might go E, B, G, B, bass, E, B, G, B. Or tag on a little G, B, G between the bass note and the broken chord. So bass, G, B, G, E, B, G, B. Bass, G, B, G, E, B, G, B. It's a really common those strings, I might do it on different strings, always hitting the bass note first, or you might do 2 bass notes and then just strum the rest, or any variation on that. Okay, so some new ones for you. The next 2 I'm going to do I call bossa nova, where you count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm going to start with a chord this time. Chord, bass, bass, chord, bass, bass, chord, bass. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Swap that around. Instead of chord, bass, bass, chord, bass, bass, chord, bass, I'm going to go bass, chord, chord, bass, chord, chord, bass, chord. Still 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, just switching the basses and the chords around. Bass, chord, chord, bass, chord, chord, bass, chord. Something to notice, when I'm hitting the chord, I don't always hit all 6 strings. I might just hit the G, B and E, maybe the D down. I'm not going 1 string, all 6. Just 1 and then 3 or 4 strings. Anyway, next one, really common one. This is bass, down, up. There's a little gap where you move your hand down and then you go up, down, up. Bass, down, up, move your hand, up, down, up. Bass, down, up, down, up. Bass, down, up, down. Bit quicker. Next one. Again, really common. Starts with bass chord. There's 2 upstrokes where again I'm just hitting a couple of strings, not all of them, and then I do another bass chord on the end. Bass, chord, up, bass, chord. Really common. Bass, chord, up, bass, chord. Again a bit quicker. So the last few, these are going to involve taps on the body of the guitar. I'm going to kind of karate chop my guitar. My pinky and third finger are going to tap just underneath the strings, and the side of my palm is going to hit the strings, all 6 at the same time, give me a nice click sound. So I get that click from the strings and the tap from the body, like that. After that, I'm going to strum up. That's why you tap underneath your strings. Tap, tap, up, tap. It's nice because it gives you your own little drum beat while you're playing. It sounds more reggae if you do it slow, or ska, or like gypsy punk if you do it quick. And some variations on that, we could try tap, up, down, up, tap, up, down, up. Or the one I used for Stand By Me a minute ago was down, tap, up, tap. Down, tap, tap. Right, number 10 isn't really a new strumming pattern. It's just a little trick that I call the semi-quaver flick. It's a very quick flick of your hand, down, up. Think of it like double clicking a mouse. You don't click it and click it again. It is a double click. This is not down and up, it's down, up. Really quick flick. and you tend to do it right on the end of your strumming pattern before you start again. So you can take any strumming pattern, if there's a gap at the end of it, you can fit this in, or you might have to take one strum off the end of your strumming pattern to fit that down up, that double flick in there. So if I took, for example, bass, chord, up, bass, chord, there's a gap there. And in that gap, I can put the flick. People use the semi-quaver flick as a chance to change their fingers around on their neck hand. So when they do the down up, they're not actually keeping their fingers on the strings, they're taking their fingers off, and you get this horrible sound, sounds like a big mess, before you change to your next chord. And then do your strumming pattern again, and when you get to the end you take your fingers off for the flick, again you get that horrible sound before your next chord. But when you do it quickly, people don't notice that the flick sounds out of tune. So the last bit of this lesson is just a list of the chord sequences we've looked at and a list of the strumming patterns we've looked at. All you need to do is pick a number from each list and apply the strumming pattern to the chord sequence, and it will start to feel like you're playing proper music. In the next lesson I'm going to show you how to look up other people's songs online so that we can take our chords and our strumming patterns and see how they work in practice in the real musical world. Until then, keep trying to switch your chords around as quick as you can, and if you're still getting buzzing, don't worry about it, it does go away. You might get the occasional buzz on a string or a completely dead string. As long as your thumb is around the back, your fingers are curly, not straight, you're right on the fingertips, you're squeezing from both sides, you should get clear notes. But I'll be honest, even I get buzzy notes occasionally now. There you go, there's one right there, where I'm not quite holding the string properly. If I'm strumming all 6 strings, you can't hear that note is buzzy. If you're really precious about it, just take your fingers off, put them back down carefully and try again. It's only when you do a full broken chord that you really hear all of the notes individually. Right, I'll see you again soon.